You don't have to know how to write professionally in order to enjoy all the benefits of writing. Linguist Walter Ong observed that writing is necessary for human mind in order to achieve its full potential. A study by Klein and Bowles found that when adults write about some significant life events, their memory for such events is improved. Writing increases cognitive skills as it requires focusing of attention, forethought, and planning. And for me, it's a perfect self-expression and self-exploration tool, and also a perfect way to dump my thoughts and thus finally close out all those dozens of mental tabs that at some point begin to haunt me. Anyone can develop their own personal writing practice, and there is no one size fits it all. So if you have been hesitant about what to write and how to write in order to build a consistent habit, or you just need a gentle push to resume your writing routine, this video can be quite helpful. I will review 4 major types of writing practice that are available to anyone, regardless of age, gender, background, or anything else, and also will mention all the benefits that they can bring you. A journal is a book or a personal record where you write down your thoughts, observations, and experiences. Most often it's not tied, all the entries are not tied to any particular date. They don't go in chronological order, but of course it can differ from one person to another. And this very peculiarity is the main thing that differs a journal from a diary. And this difference is so slight. Everyone perceives a journal and a diary as they want, but for this particular video, I decided to separate a journal and a diary to give my narrative kind of a structure and also offer you more variety. So, journaling. The vastest and the most diverse category of personal writing practice. There are infinite types of journals, from academic and project journals to reading and gratitude ones. You can expand literally every area of your life through journaling about it. In my other video about why it is so important to develop a personal writing practice, I shared with you how now I have several types of journals, and to tell you the truth, I want to expand that number even more because it gives me much more space and structure in terms of organizing my thoughts and creative routines. I guess the only type of journaling that has never worked for me, unfortunately, is bullet journaling. And it's just my personal thing, and I know that so many people enjoy keeping a bullet journal, and it's the perfect way for them, but not for me. I feel so much restricted by the concept of a bullet journal. So yeah, you just have to choose and decide what works for you. I am more of a chaotic person. My writing is very fast and furious and not pretty at all, but I don't care and nobody really cares because I write only for myself, and this is the main principle, the foundation of a personal writing practice. As I write, there arises somewhere in my head that queer and very pleasant sense of something which I want to write, my own point of view. Overall, a diary is a chronological documentation of your life. A diary is a book that is used to record all life events and experiences as they happen. A diary does not necessarily have to contain some thoughts and observations. It's just a chronicle of your life, a very personal and very intimate. And usually it's just one book, unlike journals that can be many of. When I was a teenager, I've been dreaming of having a little notebook with a locker that I could use for a diary, but I never got one and I had to hide all my personal writings in my school books so that no one could find them. Unfortunately, in my adulthood, it was very hard for me to be consistent with keeping a diary, but I want to give it one more try very soon. Now, looking back, I see how much time I have lost and how many opportunities to record some memories that I want to keep vibrant and bright, not out of nostalgia, but out of the necessity to record all the changes that happened to my personality. On a practical note, a diary can be merged with all sorts of trackers of habits, of some health-related things, of financial stuff, just anything. How many times a month you had a headache and what possibly could trigger it, or how many times a week you had pizza, or how many long walks you have taken. All these can help you get a more complete and true picture of your life flow. Another great benefit of a diary is about keeping your memories true and candid, because there exists such a phenomenon as false memories. False memories are misremembered, distorted, or fabricated recollections of past events. They can be very trivial or they can be really serious that can influence some very important decisions that you might take. And the craziest fact about false memories is that 1 out of every 3 people remembers past events incorrectly. And that's why a diary is such a great tool for keeping important memories true. What sort of diary should I like mine to be? Something loose-knit, yet not slovenly, so elastic that it will embrace anything, solemn, slight, or beautiful that comes into my mind. I should like it to resemble some deep old desk or a capacious hold-all in which one flings a mass of odds and ends without looking them through. Taking short yet meaningful notes helps you live actively and not just blindly shuffling through days. And for this very purpose, a small notebook is just great because it takes no space and is available to you at any moment. If you think that you don't really have that many things to write down, just give this practice a try and you will see how much brighter your perception of life becomes. Write down what caught your eye, what made your heart jump, or what triggered some important memories and realizations. It's very easy to think, well, I will remember this, I don't have to write it down, or maybe I will write it down later, there is no chance I will forget it, but there is 99% of probability that you will forget and you won't write it down later. Just trust me, because I am like this as well. This week, Brian and I had a walk on the first really warm day here, filled with all kinds of spring sensations. And at some moment, I thought how beautiful it is that certain trees bloom first and only then they let their leaves grow. It's like a burst of otherworldly splendor that happens only for a quick moment, to be noticed and carried in the heart. And I had a feeling of some very important metaphor or realizations that was connecting me and those trees, but at that very moment I decided not to write anything down because we were in the street, it was not that very convenient, and I think I lost something very important, or maybe not, I don't know, but just pay attention to such moments because they can really change a lot in how you see the world. Living with attention is a superpower that is so easily lost with all our gadgets and short-form content and shrinking attention span and memories. And that's why taking notes is a super tool to gain this superpower back. Free your mind from the boiling soup of thoughts. Short notes that you take can be further on used for more thoughtful journal or diary entries, or you can write a poem or an essay based on those notes. But what is more to the point is my belief that the habit of writing, thus for my own eye only, is good practice. It loosens the ligaments, never mind the misses and the stumbles. There's a whole video about just this practice on my channel, so I don't want to repeat myself too much here, but in a nutshell, a commonplace book is a pile of inspiring wisdom. The wisdom that is very subjective to you, the commonplace bookmaker. It's a place where you keep carefully selected pieces of knowledge, ideas, and quotations, or anything else from different sources for your future reference and reflection. A commonplace book is more of a database than a diary. After I learned about the name and the concept of a commonplace book, it occurred to me that one of the favorite books of mine of all times is actually a commonplace, and I'm talking about A Calendar of Wisdom by Leo Tolstoy. The book, which title is literally translated as A Circle of Reading, was described by Tolstoy as a wise thought for every day of the year from the great philosophers of all times and all people, which he himself would consult daily for the rest of his life. In the introduction of the book, the author says, "I hope that the readers of this book may experience the same benevolent and elevating feeling which I have experienced when I was working on its creation, and which I experience again and again when I reread it every day, working on the enlargement and improvement of the previous edition." If you haven't read it, I highly recommend, and maybe you can grab some nuggets of wisdom from there to put in your own commonplace book. Let me know in the comments which of these writing practices you do and in what way they benefit you, or maybe you got inspired to give some of these a try. It will be so great to discuss. Thank you so much for your time and attention, dear friends, and huge thanks to everyone who supports my work on different tipping platforms and on Patreon, where I post more personal videos every week. Thanks to your support, this channel exists. And for now, as always, be safe and keep your heart open, and I will see you soon. Пока-пока!